to Michigan here as we prepare for the Go Setups Michigan 20 in the Matt Malone Patron League. We are here for round number 5 of the championship. We are at the halfway point of season number 3. There are points on the board, but as it stands, only 2 weeks are currently being accepted. 2 drop weeks, obviously, being applied as well, which means that our championship standing at the moment is looking mighty close. But before we look at the championship, let's remind ourselves of the upcoming calendar, because we head out here in Michigan for the halfway point of the season. We then head back out next week to Sonoma, where we go out in the Rally Cross Machines. It is going to be an excellent evening of racing. There is no doubt about that one. It's expected to go a little bit longer than our usual race broadcasts and our usual race length. So let's keep an eye out for that one. Make sure you're joining us next Saturday. We then head across to Phillip Island on the for round number 7 on March 21st, and that will be in the Indy cars. It's our it's our second open wheel car this season off the back of the Formula V's, a very opposite end of the spectrum, so going from one of the slowest open wheeler cars to one of the fastest open wheeler cars, and we're going to see how they head around the Phillip Island Australian circuit. A lot of flowing corners with high speeds, of course. We then take a week off before we head to Bristol Dirt for the 8th round of the season. We'll be heading out in the Dirt mini stocks, and should be a good one there. A very small and tight track running around in the mini stock machines. We then take another week off after Bristol Dirt, so it's almost on its own there in the middle, before we then head to round number 9 at the Red Bull Ring. The Dallara P2s head back out. They're the only car to have been featured in all 3 seasons of competition. And then we head to the Chicago Street Circuit, and the TCRs will be getting down onto the track for the final round of competition when we see them on April 25th to finish this championship. And it is going to be a tight one, of course. We have had very close championship fights all the way to the end. Both season number 1 and number 2 came down to the wire when we went out to the final round of competition. Last season, of course, went the way of Butcher Dempsey, but he only managed to do it by 1 point ahead of Matty Gwill. Talking about Matty Gwill getting second, he did the same thing in season number 1, where Slugger was able to take the championship in the final round of asking. Gwill will be hoping that he can finally find his way to the top step of the podium in the championship. And with the races, that victory lane you can see there is going to be crucial for one lucky driver today. Whoever is able to get to the checkered flag first in the Go Setup Michigan 20 tonight, they will be getting a month subscription on the Go Setup shop. And then you will also be seeing one lucky Twitch viewer over on Matt Malone's Twitch page. Make sure you have got that open in the background, twitch.tv/Matt Malone, and you, with one lucky viewer over there, will also be getting a month subscription to Go Setups as well. So who is going to be able to find their way to the fun here? Are we going to see a repeat driver taking their way to victory lane? Are we going to see a new driver find their way to the front of the field? It is all to play for today as an individual race, in addition to it having an impact on the championship. Talking of the championship then, let's have a look at the top 10 heading into this round, the 5th round of the season, and Big Al and Richard Dempsey are currently the 2 drivers at the top of the order with 46 points apiece. Who is going to be ahead coming out of the halfway stage of this season? Checkers has had a strong start to the season as well. He sits in tied 3rd place with Kevin Parrish and Matty Gwill, the best of the rest in season 1 and 2. He currently sits 5th, 7 points off the championship lead. but by no means counts him out. In fact, I would say all of your top 10 there still have an opportunity to take the championship in this one. I say your most likely bets, though, drop down to about Matt Malone, I would say, at this halfway point in the season, but you cannot count anyone out. Of course, Auburn Kyle made a great resurgence at the back end of last season as well to get third in the championship overall. If he could make a strong run in the back half of this season as well, there's no counting him out at this stage. There are drop points being taken off of a lot of our drivers today, though, so today's race is going to be interesting to see what the championship standings will look like at the end of it. Of course, we will have the full championship standings available at the end of this race, not just the top 10. So make sure that you stick around at the end of the race as well to see where everyone is sat out of the halfway stage of this season of competition. And welcome to the commentary booth here for the first time today as we prepare to go racing around the Michigan circuit for our Go Setup Michigan 20. It is 20 laps of racing action that we are about to head out with. It's a slightly different formula of racing today in terms of we normally get into an open practice qualifying session at the start of the session. However, there is going to be 15 minutes of practice going on, which we will be talking a little bit more through as well. Then we'll be heading into a closed qualifying session of a couple of laps for each of our drivers, and then after that we will be heading into our 20 laps of racing. Cautions are going to be around here today, and now thinking of the last time we ran oval as an oval race, season 1, we had Charlotte. We took the trucks out at Charlotte. We had a race full of cautions. We only had about 3 actual laps of racing. It was a disastrous inaugural oval race of the season. Season number 2, we tried it again. We went out in the Xfinity machine. No, we went out in the ARCA machines, I should say. And the ARCAs we managed to get most of the race under green. The cautions came out towards the end of the race where we saw a couple of cautions. But overall, it was a very clean race, very great race at that as well. Which one are we going to see here today? Of course, going to Michigan, it's another new oval. It's another new set of cars to take out on this oval. So it's anyone's guess how today is going to play out. But our drivers will all be hoping that they are going to be the ones who find themselves onto the very top step of the podium as I just try to get my statistics open, and they open up on the screen there for you. The way this season has gone at the moment, of course, there's not been a single repeat pole sitter. There's not been a single repeat race winner yet. The last time this happened was season number 1. It took until the 6th round of the season until we saw a repeat winner. That was Matt Malone, who was the first repeat winner in season number 1. Malone is yet to win so far this season, and importantly, none of our pole sitters have gone on to win the race that they sat on pole position, apart from Kevin Parrish, who currently sits in 3rd position. 4 races so far, only 1 has been converted into a race victory from that pole position. It's not likely to happen here. Whenever we do go to an oval, though, we normally see different names towards the front of the field. We've seen the likes of Bob's Jelly at the front. We've seen the likes of Checkers at the front. Of course, Checkers has pulled out some really great pace so far this season. Something that he wasn't showing in the previous 2 seasons. But he's shown great pace in oval as well, which is where he took his first pole. It's where he took his first win in the series. Of course, Checkers has taken a win so far this season. He won the Porsche Cups at Silverstone. Yet to find himself on pole position, though. Will today be the day? Of course, anyone and everyone has the opportunity on an oval. Anyone and everyone will be wanting that opportunity because our race winner will be getting that month-long subscription to Go Setup. So with that being said, then, we are about to prepare for our practice session in the server, and then we'll be getting into qualifying. We will be back in about 5 minutes' time as we jump into the official race server. So make sure you don't go anywhere, because the Go Setups 20 is about to begin. We'll see you shortly. welcome back here. We are getting ready for the start of the Go Setup Michigan 20 here as we prepare for the 5th round of asking from Season 3 of the Matt Malone Patron League, as we have our field of drivers getting out in their variety of car choices here today. And what a selection they've got. They've got the Ford Mustang, the Chevrolet Camaro, and the Toyota Supras heading out around this 2-mile circuit in Brooklyn, Michigan, as we prepare for 20 laps of racing action. It is going to be an absolutely brilliant one. There is no doubt about that, and drivers will be hoping that they are able to put in their fastest lap times possible in qualifying, get themselves up the field and be in with an opportunity to try and take this pole position and then go into the race victory and try to take potentially a race win. Not only will help them out in their championship fights, it will mean that they get that 1-month subscription to Go Setups. And there are a few new names as well getting out there to have a look out for in this session, trying to give it a go. One of those being Clay Debon. He's currently the fastest in this session and thinking, right, this is my perfect opportunity to try and do something. As expected, we see Checkers out there. Now, Checkers is quick on an oval. Is he going to be quick enough to try and do something with it? As we just saw some things out in the background there we go, and looking to try and do something with a great race result. Of course, don't forget that Checkers has taken one victory so far this season. It was back at round number 1. He will be looking to try and take his second victory in the championship, and of course he'll be looking to see if they can find their way any further up that championship order. As we can see on the right hand side, Checkers currently sitting 3rd position in this championship and looking potentially to try and make his way past Dempsey and Big Al, who currently lead the way at the very top of this one, as drivers are heading out and trying to put any laps in that they possibly can in this session. It is obviously a practice session right now for our drivers. They are then going to have a couple of laps to try and put in a nice championship standing, and that's not the button I meant to press. Try to put a good qualifying session in for this one and find themselves near the front of the field. You can see this timer ticking down here on the top left for this one, and drivers just trying to do all that they can in this session as we watch go and have a watch of Clay Debon. He is the fastest man in this session at the moment, and will be trying to replicate that into the qualifying session as well. Of course, right now he is able to find that support from the drivers out there with him, and will be able to be pulled towards the front. But Devon putting in some really great lap times at the moment and running the fastest of them all by a couple, well, just over a tenth of a second. In fact, we will get our standings up as well. It's not often that we get down during a practice session. Well, we don't really get a practice session for these sessions, so it's nice to see how the drivers are able to do through the afternoon, and then see where they are able to turn up. Mads Lunde, he's taken a pole position so far this season. He took pole position back in Thruxton when we were running the spec racer Ford. He was able to not able to convert that into a race win though, because he had a connection issue on the line, which meant that he was not able to take the race start. Max again from pit lane a couple of laps down. He'll be hoping to do something around the oval today in the 22 machine. He looking to improve up the order right now, and he does move up to 18th, gets knocked down to 90s, down to 20s though, and we'll be waiting just to find that little bit of support. Of course, these practice lap times are not going to be the absolute best representation of where drivers are going to find themselves in qualifying, because right now they obviously have that support that they are not going to have come the main qualifying session. So we head up towards the timeline for Matt Malone as we are on board with him and over the timing line and seeing what we could potentially do. He's up to 16th position with that one as we jump properly on board here and hear the lovely sounds of the Toyota engine, a mixture of the Toyota, Chevrolets and Fords being selected out there. Toyota in the very front right now in Master Yota Racing. Master Yota Racing has found himself close towards the front in a number of events, but right now he is the fastest in this practice session. Matt Malone seeing some issues up ahead of him as Matt Malone has a bit of a wreck along the back straights as well, and then we come up across the timing line for Lunday. We'll go have a little look at Big Al, because Big Al is chasing just behind as well and looking to see what he is able to do in this session. He's currently 5th fastest. He and Richard Dempsey are tied in the championship right now with level points at the front of the order. Who is going to come out on top out of both of those? Of course, both of them do have drop weeks being applied at the moment, and it does mean if you do have a bad evening today, some drivers might not walk away pointless because they'll be given back points that they are currently dropping from previous events as we continue to watch the end of this practice session here. Now then, our race winners have an opportunity to win a month subscription to Go Setups if they win today's race. But if you head across to Matt Malone's Twitch page by going to twitch.tv/Matt Malone and you enter the raffle going on over there, then you too can be with a chance of winning a month subscription to Go Setups. So a great opportunity for you to find some setups that will get you out towards the front of the field. The setup being run today in the Go Setups 200 is supplied by Go Setups as well. We watch Big Al come up towards the timing line here. He's 5th fastest in this session right now, just under 0.2 of a second off of Master Yota Racing. But he is running largely on his own out there, so these lap times more representative of the qualifying session that we expect to see with drivers getting the no-toe, of course. It was initially going to be an open qualifying session. It was switched across to this practice session into a closed qualifying session because of the way that the qualifying tape works. It just meant that going out with the qualifying setup in an open qualifying session would not work because the cars would not run for more than a lap. So we've switched it around a little bit here, and we are going for the traditional oval qualifying session of the closed setup, laps limited, of course. Jeff Schnackle comes up towards turn number 1. He's the slowest of the men that have put lap times on the board right now, but he is not the slowest of all because there are 4 drivers without lap times on the board at the moment. And I was saying earlier on, Clay Devon stepping in for the first time this season up at the front. We've also got Netcode Ninja heading out for the first time as well. A couple of new drivers heading out in this one as Matt Malone finds himself with some heavy damage in this practice session. And as expected, he has found Richard Dempsey. There was a little bit of a wobble up ahead, and Dempsey's to the inside, and he comes straight back up the circuit. And Matt Malone and Richard Dempsey are caught up in that one together now. We have seen these issues happen before on circuits such as this, when we go out onto the oval, seeing drivers come together. We are expecting cautions today, but are we going to get cautions early doors like we did in season number 1 at Charlotte, or are we going to see, like we did last season, are we going to see cautions come more towards the end of this one? I do expect cautions because even though we do have prizes on the line for the championship, this is the first time a prize is on the line for a singular race, and drivers will be looking to try and find their way to the very front of the pecking order by the end of the race session. We've got about a minute left in this practice session, and we will be heading across into qualifying and seeing what our drivers are potentially able to do for this one. As we watch Slugger come across the timing line here once more. Slugger not having a season to remember. It's been a bit of a tricky couple of seasons ever since Slugger won season number 1. He's struggled to find the consistency and struggled to find himself running towards the very top and finishing races actually as well. Slugger has taken a lot of DNFs. In fact, of all the drivers in the series, it's a stat that he wouldn't want to hold, but Slugger does officially hold the most retirements in the series history. It's not what the season 1 champion would like to have. Of course, he is holding that record as well. He's tied with the most championships won with the 1 alongside Richard Dempsey, but he is holding that record, the most DNFs across the course of the series history, which is a real shame. In fact, I haven't looked, but I do believe that Slugger is running the most DNFs this season as well, which is just not a statistic that the defending champion from season number 1, well, the former champion from season number 1, I should say, would like to have. Defending champion is Richard Dempsey, of course. Dempsey used to hold the statistic of always finishing inside a top 5. He lost that statistic at Spa in season number 2 when we went out in the GT4s. He'll be hoping to find his way back into the top 5 again. And with that being said, we will watch Richard Dempsey in this qualifying session here. Drivers do have that 4 minutes on the board, well, 5 minutes on the board, but they will get 2 laps of asking to try and put the lap times in, and we will be watching the defending champion Richard Dempsey trying to put his lap times in this session. We will have the lap times appearing on the left-hand side as drivers cross the timing line, so there will be opportunities to see where everyone is appearing. We will see what Richard Dempsey is able to do here at Michigan, though. Can he go strong and crucially get ahead of Big Al, because Big Al is tied with him in the points at the moment. We come through turn number 1. Dempsey running in that middle groove, pushes up to the wall on the outside. Expect to see some lap times being placed in very shortly. Netcode Ninja has picked up a black flag. Will need to reset on his lap time, otherwise it's not going to count. He's still out there at the moment, but he's just reset now. Richard Dempsey then will be putting in a lap time on the board. He won't be the first, as we will see what drivers are able to do as they appear on the left-hand side. They fly across the line. Jeff Schnackel currently the fastest. Richard Dempsey does go overall fastest on his first lap here, and again running that middle groove there. Crucially, the man tied with him in the championship sits into second. Jeff Schnackel is only 0.003 of a second behind. Dempsey has hit the wall and will therefore not be able to improve on his lap time. Papanokums has knocked him off of provisional pole. Craig Debon goes into second position. We watch Big Al here looking to improve on his lap time as Master Yoda Racing is now in that provisional pole position. Big Al running that middle groove here, will push up to the wall on the outside come the exit, but drops down to the white line, to the inside here as he crosses the timing line. Can Big Al find additional time on that lap as he crosses across? No, 0.4 of a second slower for him. No lap time found. We watch Provi 1 here. He sits in the outside of the points, outside of position at the moment. He's not yet put anything on the board. Let's see what the number 13 can do as he comes out of the final turn and up towards timing line. He drops below the white line there. I'm not sure if that's allowed here at Michigan. It is a valid lap though, and it puts him up to 9th position with that one, so a great lap for him. Michael R is on his 3rd lap. Any drivers still on their 2nd. Checkers down in 24th, not what one of the championship contenders would want. Matty Gwilt crosses the line there. That was his 1st lap time. He comes up now for his 2nd. He is quick enough to be in 8th position. Matty Gwilt will be looking to see if he can close what is just over 0.3 of a second and pull his way. If he finds a 10th of a second, in fact, he could find his way up in 4th position. At the moment, Master Yoda Racing and Papanokam sort of in a league of their own, a 10th and 0.2 ahead of the rest of the field. Matty Gwilt then coming the middle line once again, pushes up around towards the outside wall. He'll tuck it down again. We saw him tuck it down last time. No, he stays up wide this time on that lap time. As he lost out in the middle part of the lap. Netcode Ninja, one of the new drivers out there today, 21st, but Checkers, not what he would have wanted in that qualifying session. The man who started the first oval race on pole position. He got penalised in that one, fell down the order, did a great recovery drive. That was all the way back in season number 1, of course. The man who won race number 1 this season, Checkers, is at the back of your field of drivers. 28 cars will be heading out there for this session. 20 laps on the board, of course, as we prepare to go racing for the Go Setups 20 here around Michigan. And our drivers have finished their qualifying sessions. It will be job well done from Master Yota Racing, who has gone quickest of them all at the top of this field, and we'll be starting this one from pole position. We will talk your way through the entire grid order once the drivers have made their way down to the down onto the track and have started their formation lap. Of course, they'll get 1 lap of formation before we get our rolling start up towards turn number 1. 20 laps on the board. Cautions can play out, and they have done in previous seasons where we have gone to oval races. So how is it going to be on this one? It is going to be interesting for our drivers here to see what they can do, and they are now getting their way down onto the grid here. There they are. We will talk our way through the order in just a moment's time. 28 cars are preparing to go racing for this one. 20 laps of racing. It should be, if it stays all green, a quick one and done race. We should be done in the next 15 minutes. However, we know from experience it is not going to be a green flag race from start to finish. We are going to see cautions. How many? Is it going to be reminiscent of the trucks at Charlotte, where we got a caution almost every single lap that race? Is it going to be reminiscent of the Arcas last season, where we only saw a couple of cautions at the very end of the race? Well then, we are about to find out, but before we do, let's talk our way through the grid order for today's race, with our drivers now heading out and preparing to go racing here around the wonderful Michigan circuit. It is Master Yota Racing who will start this one on pole position ahead of Papa No Comes. Clay Debon will start in 3rd with Tony Gibboni in 4th position. Richard Dempsey will be starting in 5th alongside tied championship leader Big Al in 6th. 7th goes the way of Jeff Schnackle. Matty will start this one in 8th. Kevin Parrish in 9th position. Provi will start in 10th ahead of Lap Traffic. Powski from 12th. Matt Malone will start in 13th position ahead of Greg Fronek in 14th. Mads Lunde will start in 15th position with Bob Shelley in 16th. Rydog will start in 17th, and Space Ghost in 18th position. 19th will go the way of Mecharm with Slugger in 20th. Netco Ninja will start in 21st, ahead of DDO Deadman, Sean Sims from 23rd, and Michael R. Van from 24th position. The back of the field will have Wright, Carl Ditch, Casket Man, and surprisingly, Checkers. Championship contender, back of the field. Could it work out for him, especially if there's a lot of cautions? It puts him right in the firing line for accidents going on ahead of him, but at the same time, it might keep him out of potential wrecks for our leaders. The Go Setups 200 then is about to begin, with Master Yota Racing being the man to start this one on pole position ahead of Papa No Comes. We look up towards the green flag and we go racing here at the Go Setups 200. Side by side at the front of this one, we remain 2 by 2 by 2. In fact, in the midfield, we've already for a moment gone 3 wide. Are we going to make it through turn 1 and 2 without an accident with this 3 wide? It looks like we will, as it looks to be a close fight at the front for 2nd position. Clay Debon gets past Papa No Comes. They are swapping it out for 2nd and 3rd place here as we head up towards turn number 1 in this race, turn number 3 in this race, and to end lap number 1. Different lines being run, with a few drivers going for that high line, the middle line being the one that most drivers are opting for. Clay Debon, though, gets up the inside of Master Yota Racing, and after the first lap of asking, Clay Debon is the man to have led across the line there. as we try to get our timing on the left-hand side. There we go. It is side-by-side between Marciota Racing and Clay Devon. They are fighting out for a race victory. They are fighting it out to try and take the Go Setups subscription. There is an accident in the background, and around we go, and the caution is out. Carl Ditch was involved in that one. About 6 or 7 cars involved in that wreck there as we come through turn number 3 and 4. Master Yota Racing returned back into the race lead as we went under caution there onto the 3rd lap of asking. It is Meatballs for lap traffic and right click. Let's have a look then at that accident and see what happened here. It was contact up ahead. It was the number 5 that went around initially, and it was just a collection as cars came in behind there. It was Carl Ditch that went around in the first point there. That was also Checkers involved in that one. I said it was either going to be great for Checkers because he could avoid all the wrecks, or he was going to be perfectly placed to be involved. It happened on his right-hand side. It caught him in the rear right quarter panel, who was collected again by Sean Sims. He'll have to come down pit lane. Well, actually, no, he won't. Checkers did not get damage in that one. Carl Ditch, however, and right click, both of those have got some penalties here after coming down pit lane. So they will have to, they sorted their meatballs out. They will have to sort out those penalties as well, which will be a shame for both of those as we head back live here and we have a little bit of watch. The lights still on board the safety car, which means that we will be going an extra lap of running here as they come out of the final turn. I'm sure we'll get going once again onto the 5th lap of asking. And as expected here, we are going to see these caution periods coming out, and we should expect to see them throughout the course of this race as well, but that was an accident towards the back of that one that caused all of that to happen. But on that start, Bobby has managed to hold on to a top 10 spot, but our biggest mover and shaker right now is Casket Man. He's up from 27th on the grid. He's just moved his way into 19th with his cars down pit lanes. He will be happy with that one. And as we are taking a moment under this caution period, let's have a little bit of a look. That's not that button. I keep on hitting the wrong button, guys. Let's take a little bit of a look at our live championship standings. They're just easy. There's so many buttons, you do sometimes hit the wrong ones. I wanted the live championship standings. There we go. And as it stands, with just with Richard Dempsey up in 5th, Big Al down in 9th. Big Al will be taking back a drop week, and it will only be a single point separating them at the moment. Kevin Parrish will be in 3rd position ahead of Checkers. Checkers picking up a drop week point, of course. And then Matty Quill will be holding on to 5th position at the moment. So the top 5 in the championship there, looking to still be extremely close at the end of this one. As lights are still on the pace car there, we are going to go an additional lap under yellow here as drivers get themselves sorted towards the back end of this field. And it's going to be interesting to see who is able to take the win here, because again, as I say, it's not just running around in the for the championship in this victory. It is running around also to try and take that subscription in the Go setups running here. So it will be interesting to see what they are able to do. But we'll reflect back on pole position just once again here, because Master Yota Racing stepping into the championship this season, and on the 5th time of asking, he's placed it on pole. It does mean in the first half of the season, 5 races, we have seen 5 different pole sitters. With that being said, are we going to see 5 different race winners? Well, if any of your top 4 were to win this race right now, it would be 5 different race winners in the opening 5 laps as well. So let's see how this one goes as the lights on top of the pace car are off. We have 15 more laps of race running here, and prepare to go racing around the Michigan circuit for a second time. Master Yota Racing will be the man leading off. We go for a single file restart on this one, and he will be the man to decide when to go during the restart zone, of course. But the Go Setups 20 is preparing to go racing here as we come around the final corner of the circuit and up towards the timing line here. Off goes the pace car. Master Yoda Racing in control of the field now. Clay Debon dropping back a little bit, not wanting to be right on the rear end of Master Yoda Racing. We go green here. And away we go. It's a slow launch from Clay Debon there. Master Yoda Racing has been given a great advantage at the front of this one, but of course there will be drivers we are able to push behind, but right now half a second out at the front of this one is really going to help him out as we watch Kevin Parrish here to the inside of Matty Gwill. That's not the way that Matty Gwill would want to go. It's exactly the way that Kevin Parrish would want to go, though, in his fight. Is Tony Gibboni looking to get up the inside of Papa No Comes. That's Richard Dempsey to the inside of Jeff Schnackle. Schnackle goes really fast into the corner, and he manages to hold that speed as well. A little bit of a wobble on the exit as Papa No Comes holds the outside line on Tony Gibboni here as they come up towards the timing line. Across it they go onto the 7th lap of asking here, and it is still being led by Master Yoda Racing. Richard Dempsey still to the inside of Jeff Schnackle, as well as Matty Gwill trying to catch up from behind here as Kevin Parrish in that number 6 machine also looking to close in. A few more side-by-side battles going on in the distance as well as we head up towards the final 2 turns, and at the moment we see one car, a little bit of smoke there up to the inside, and I think that was Bob's Jelly falling down the order out of turn number 2. Matt Malone gets past Pawski as it's 2x2 in the background, as well as we see Big Al looking to try and get past Robbie in their little fight, as well as Big Al looking to try and take some additional points out of this one, with Richard Dempsey being there in 6th position right now. We come through turn number 1 and out of turn number 2 as Matt Malone trying to pick a line here. Who's on the inside, he moves to the outside, but right now Big Al is stuck on the inside of Pawski trying to do something there. Richard Dempsey is running the outer line on Jeff Schnackle here, and Kevin Parrish is now very much involved in this one. Kyle Ditch has served his penalty and will be back out onto the circuit, albeit very far down now as we go across the timing line once again. Richard Dempsey holding on ahead of Schnackle. Papa No Comes looking to the inside of Tony Gibboni at the moment. He will be looking to try and run that quicker inside line, but the push on the exit just gives the speed to Tony Gibboni. Kevin Parrish chasing down on the rear end of Jeff Schnackle here and seeing if there is something he can do to try and get to the inside of Richard Dempsey. Dempsey stuck in the middle here as they get past Kyle Ditch on that outside of the circuit. They are through as Richard Dempsey tried to get even further to the outside of Schnackle there. Couldn't quite do it. To the inside now goes Richard Dempsey to try the inside of turn number 1. He doesn't have the overlap though, but will he be able to place his car into the overlap? No, he'll have to remain behind for the time being as they start to settle down here halfway through this race as they end this lap with 10 more to go. It's only one caution so far. A little bit of a nudge there for Parrish on the rear end of Dempsey. Matt Malone goes to the inside of Pawski here though. They still have Provi just ahead and Matty Gwill as they've closed into this fight, and that is still Kyle Ditch running the outside line in the number 5 machine a lap down as we come up towards the timing line. Matt Malone stuck on his own on the inside here. He's got Pawski on his outside. He's got Provi just up ahead of him as they both run that higher line. Matt Malone sticking to the low line there. He moves up into the middle groove. It's a little bit of a slide as he does so, and again on the exit there he loses out to Provi. Pawski gets through, and Big Al now trying to close up behind them as well. Back up towards the front, and Tony Gibboni has been able to close up to Clay Debon. Master Yoda Racing remains untouchable, half a second ahead here. That restart for Master Yoda Racing with Clay Debon just dropping back. It has given him a full advantage here. He'll be hoping it goes green for the rest of this one because it will give him the opportunity to win this one. Now Checkers, he started right at the very back of the field. He was caught up in that wreck. He is up to 14th position here and will be trying to take any points on the board, even if this does become a drop week for him. It could help him out later on into the season. We saw drop points of helping Slugger win the championship in season number 1. Rydog was into the wall there out of turn 2 as Big Al and Matt Malone trying different lines here. Matt Malone is going to duck to the inside on the exit of turn number 4 up towards the timing line here. This is the fight for 9th and 10th position in this session right now, and they come across the timing line. Big Al trying to hold it on the outside line. Matt Malone going to hold it on the inside line. It is going to be overlap for Malone, but Big Al is going to be able to carry the speed on the exit, but Matt Malone slides up, and he does a great slide job there. He has a little bit of a slide on the exit as well, but Matt Malone moves up into 9th position past Big Al. Big Al is looking to try and do a similar move on him now as Big Al goes to the inside. Matt Malone runs the extremely high line there. He does not get it turned in. Big Al easily makes that move here, and probably is going to have an excellent opportunity to move inside the top 10 right now. He'll have to stay behind as it stands. Papanokums getting onto the rear of Clay Debon. Debon has lost that position to Tony Jabroni as well. And so right click has come down pit lane as well, as he has had an issue in the 171 machine. Who was that into the wall? It was the 27 of Jeff Schnackle, who just planted it into the outside wall there. Richard Dempsey would have seen that and thought, this is a great opportunity. Can I make my way through here? But at the moment, he's just going to have to stick behind. Checkers still making his way up the field now in the 43. He's on the outside of Greg Bonek. Bonek looking for some solid points here. If he's able to finish up inside the top 15, it would be his best result in league history. But it's contact with the number 5 machine. Bonek's down low there. He gets it back up. He's down to 15th position. Matt Lunde makes his way past, but Bonek just wants to keep it clever here. Try and take some points. It was contact with the 5 of Carl Ditch. Remember, Ditch is a lap down in this race. And I think that was just Bonek riding up a little too high on his lap. Pawski then trying to get past Matt Malone. Matt Malone trying to get past Big Al, and that's a big slide there for Matt Malone through turn number 4. He manages to hold it. But it is going to invite Pawski onto his inside now as we're on the 16th lap of asking 5 to go. Pawski makes the overtake past Matt Malone as we come through turn number 3 up towards turn number 4 now. Matt Malone is going to hold it on the outside. Is he going to touch the wall? He certainly is. He scrapes the wall, but Pawski's going to have to drop it in behind, just behind Checkers. Still trying to make his way up the order, and he's looking at that fight ahead and thinking, I can get inside the top 10 here. That is for sure. Checkers up to 10th position there, and Clay Debon loses out to Papanokums. And Papanokums up into 3rd right now. Master Yoda Racing is holding a 2nd in the lead right now, looking to try and take the Go Setups 20 here and take the month subscription of Go Setups. Back to this midfield pack though. Matt Malone's on the outside. It is Pawski dropped down low there. Big Al is the 11 leading. You can see the 4 cars chasing in just behind as well, as they are trying to get involved in this one, as they are going to get involved in this one now as we head up towards the end. That number 5 of Carl Ditch, remember, a lap down. He doesn't play a part in positions, but he is playing a part in this fight right now. Matt Malone is leading it. Big out to the inside. Malone runs very wide though, and that inside line is going to come out to play. Matt Malone loses a lot of time as he scrapes the wall on the outside and will drop all those positions. In fact, that looks almost intentional, the way that he dropped so many positions there, because he's just given up about 6 cars. He stays on the wider line here as we're 3 to go. This gaggle ahead of him still trying to do something, a little bit of a slide there. For the number 22 machine of Mads Lunde. He holds it. Pawski trying to stick to the inside of Checkers here, but he is going to be stuck behind Carl Ditch. Carl Ditch is not going to be backing off though. He's been very much involved in this fight. We've got a fight going on for 2nd now as Papanokums looks to try and take Tony Jabroni for 2nd in this race. They're 1.5 seconds off the lead, and Jeff Schnackle here and is under attack from Kevin Parrish. Parrish gets to the inside in the number 6 machine and will make that move. It's 2 by 2 up towards turn number 1 in the midfield here, but it is Big Al who is ahead of the rest right now. Checkers holding on to a top 10 position. He'll be happy with that, but that's Matt Malone into the wall. He keeps it facing the right way. We will remain green here as we come up towards the final 2 corners, and we will go onto the white flag lap, which means we will be official here when that white flag comes out for our race leader of Master Yoda Racing. Out of the final turn comes this middle pack of drivers right now. They cross the line The white flag is out here. It will come down to the end. There's a fight going on for second position between Papanokums and Tony Gibboni as we come through turn number 1, and we see Matt Malone off around, Greg Fronek off and around, both on the final lap of this race just after the white flag, which means that they do not get a yellow flag in this one. Fights going on, but Master Yota Racing took pole position, will convert it to race victory here in the Go Setups 20. And Tony Gibboni takes second position as we have cars fighting 3 wide across the line there in the mid-pack. We'll have to get a replay of that final lap in the mid-pack there as drivers come crashing and barreling across the line in that one. But it is Master Yota Racing who comes out on top at the end of the Go Setups 20. And he will take the month subscription to Go Setups. What a race that was for him, and let's have a look at a few of those things happening on the end. It was Fronek coming out of pit lane, and it was turned. It was a spin there from Provi that sent Matt Malone the wrong way out of the final turn just after the white flag was called. We then saw what was a very close fight in the mid-pack. Big Al finishing 9th position, 4 thousandths of a second ahead of Pawski. Mads Lunde just 200ths of a second further off of that one. Checkers down to 14th at the end of that one. Let's have a look at how that all applied. Checkers on the outside there in the number 43 machine. Was he shuffled? It was contact with Pawski. He was put into the wall there, and here we go. We went 4 wide across the line, but it was the number 5, a lap down. But what an ending to that race, and what a race it was, and it was won in the end by Master Yota Racing. The number 7 machine wins here at Michigan. His first pole position in league history turned in to his first race win in league history. It's only the second time this season a driver has managed to convert pole position to a race win. And it means in 5 races, we have seen 5 different race winners. We are yet to see a repeat pole sitter or a repeat winner in this race. And with that being said then, let's have a look at our race results after this one. Master Yota Racing won, almost 2 seconds clear of Tony Gibboni, who crossed the line ahead of Papanokums. Richard Dempsey came home in 4th position with Kevin Parrish in 5th. Clay Debon crossed the line in 6th position with Jeff Schneckel coming across the line in 7th. Maddie Gwil in 8th. Big Al took home 9th in the end ahead of Pawski in that close fight towards the checkered flag. Mads Lunde crossing the line in 11th ahead of Meckham. Rydog came home 13th, and Checkers a storming drive through the field. It was still a great result of 14th. He would have been hoping for a top 10. But he does come home ahead of Casket Man in 15th, Stuggo in 16th, and Lap Traffic coming across the line there in 17th position. Neko Ninja finished his first ever race in the points in 18th position ahead of Sean Sims. Space Ghost rounded out your points finishers. Michael Van missed out on that one, finishing in 21st ahead of Bob Shelley. And Provi, a lap down was Matt Malone, Kyle Ditch, Right Click, Greg Fronek, and DDO Deadman. With that all being said and done then, let's have a look how the championship lines up out of this one. And Richard Dempsey will lead the championship by a single point out of the first half of the season. And the defending champion finds himself on top once more. Big Al is having the season of his life right now. He will be hoping to find his way even further up the order and get himself onto that top set spot by the end of the season. Kevin Parrish is doing a great job right now, just 4 points behind Big Al in 3rd place. Checkers just a single point back in 4th. Matty Gwil right now holds on to the top 5 with Matt Malone in 6th place. Master Yota Racing finds himself jumping all the way up to 7th ahead of Auburn Kyle. Bob Shelley sits in 9th and Meckham in 10th position right now. Let's have a look outside your top 10 then. We've got Tony Gibboni in 11th, sitting a point ahead of Papanokums. Pawski and Slugger are tied in points in 13th and 14th with 33 apiece. Not what the Season 1 champion of Slugger would have been hoping for. Milky Illidaus is sitting in 15th position right now, ahead of Sean Sims. It then becomes Provi and Mads Lunde. Carl Ditch sits in 19th, and Josh Stafford rounds out your top 20 in the championship. Casket Man and Rydog are tied on 18 points apiece, with Snackle and Devon also being tied in 15. Of course, Devon stepping in for the first time today, getting that great 6th place result, even though he was running up in 2nd for most of that one, dropping down towards the end. Lap Traffic sitting on 25th in the championship right now, ahead of Jux TV. Lobster Racing sits in 27th, ahead of Space Ghost. Marshmallow in 29th, and DDO Deadman rounding out the top 30. We then see Too Tall Greg in 31st position, ahead of Netco Ninja, getting points on the board in his first race. Tom Payne in 33rd position, the last of the drivers with points to their names. Drivers who have competed but yet to take points. Right click, Greg Fronek. Fronek was up there, of course, looking to take his first ever points, but knocking down the order in the end. Turbo's now coming home, sitting in without points in the championship as well, ahead of Michael R. Van, Mike Lister, Neil Trotter, and Jagelbaum, and then Extra Pickles at the very back of the field. What an amazing race it has been once again here at Michigan, and we will be back out again in just a week's time for yet again something a bit different. We are going to be heading out in the rallycross cars around Sonoma next week, so make sure you don't miss that one. If you haven't done so already, hit that follow button here on Joseph Wright TV for the Twitch page so you get notified when we go live. We've got some more broadcasts coming your way tomorrow, and a whole host of broadcasts coming your way next weekend as we get our second super weekend of the year going on. 6 events coming your way next weekend from Friday through to Sunday. So make sure you've hit that follow button if you haven't done so already. Also head across to our YouTube page as well, and make sure that you follow across over there, because that way you can catch all of the race highlights. I know that the Matt Malone Patreon League highlights are falling behind a little bit. We will get all of them out within due course, so don't you worry about that. But we will be back then in a week's time for round number 6 as we enter the second half of the season. It has been an absolute brilliant one, and everyone taking part in the chat there, thanks so much for coming and popping by and watching, and we will be back out racing in a week's time. It was great to see so many cars fighting it out. Only one big wreck in that one caution flag. Of course, Matt Malone spun at the end. If they had done it just 10 seconds earlier, a caution would have been thrown, but unfortunately the white flag had already been called, which means that he would not have picked that one up. All said and done, though, what an amazing race. Well done to Master Toyota Racing, taking his first pole position and race win of the season. But crucially for him, he has also taken that victory here at the Go Setups 20, which means he does take a month subscription to Go Setups out of this one as well. Until next time then, I hope you guys have a fantastic evening and a fantastic weekend. And we will see you for the next round of the Matt Malone Patreon League next Saturday. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.